You are from Ukraine, you are young and beautiful, you managed to mix different writings, working as a journalist, editor. You are writing a novel or novels?
Short stories, let's say so.
Fairy tales, short stories.
Yes.
You have a poetry book published.
In the second one.
You are winning literature awards in your homeland. What would you add to this in short?
Also, I'm a photographer, also I'm an archaeologist a little bit, and my greatest passion is travels. I like travel and discovery different cultures, not as a tourist but as a hitchhiker. Like, I prefer informal kind of travelings.
I think that different writings mean also different thinking, and then it's maybe hard to unite or.
No, it make you more be more flexible, and I think it's useful because when you work all time in one direction, you risk to lose something very important.
Some more general view.
Yeah, and switching all time let you be more objective, let's say so.
When you wrote an application to stay in Writers and Translators House, it was some time ago.
Yeah, it was 3 years ago. It was quite. It was not me. It was somebody.
And the world was completely different.
Yes.
Did you change too since then?
I changed everything. Actually, now I am another person with the same passport.
You had a dream then to write a novel about Mongolia.
Yes, I was ill with Mongolia, and I went in Mongolia. I hitchhiked there, and I studied the history of Mongolia and the mythology of Mongolia, and I dreamed to make a novel about it. But you know that my country had some problems during last year, let's say so, and it made a great influence on me as a journalist and as a person also. So now, of course, Mongolian is not so actual for me.
But it's maybe sometimes.
Yeah, I'd like to believe I'll come back to the subject.
Do you agree also to speak a bit about situation in Ukraine?
Yeah, sure.
We follow news, and it seems that the media also participates in the war. So, but the most valuable for us maybe is a personal experience. What is your personal experience in the light of there was recently the first anniversary of Maidan?
It was great experience because before Maidan I represented myself as a culture journalist. I paid interest nothing but art and culture and so on. I never understood something in politics, yes. And after this, I think politics turned to be not just subject, just direction in journalism, but something very personal for everybody. And it was impossible to stay outside of it. So all time I was in Maidan. I made a report.
You participated,
yeah,
or
for
you
sure.
worked there as a journalist?
I worked as a journalist and I worked as a volunteer. And at the same time, I did everything I could do in that moment. Also, I was wounded by grenade because I was all time when it was the fights. with police. So I made video, I made photos, I made reports, I prepared teas and sandwiches for guys who protected us.
In Latvia, when we had some fight for freedom, then let's say enemies on purpose for journalists.
I think the same. Yes, it was dangerous to be a journalist a little bit. Also, I forgot to add that we created lots of funny happenings before fights and before deaths. When it was just a demonstration, we created some culture program with friends. It was also a nice experience.
This war, does it mean to literature? Because it may be different kinds of attitude, like shut up, it's time of journalism and reports, not to literature, or at the same time people are becoming more open and friendly and looking for poetry as a literature, maybe kind of shelter.
You know, as one guy told, there are three main directions in the war. It's actually various soldiers, and it's the doctors, and it's the poets. The poets during the history was all time on the war and near the soldiers, and it's a big influence. They can also, as a journalist, make influence, let's say so. I was on the Est with my friends, and we created a culture program to Est people, and we were shocked really how hungry in culture sense people are.
Suddenly.
Yes.
Because in when the most important news are economy, and it's like, oh, we are doing business. Yeah, no one reads, but suddenly. But suddenly you meet people.
We come to our soldiers, and they told, "Oh, you are like a light in the darkness for us." It was strange. We didn't expect it. Really, we had nothing, just poems and songs for them. But they really was very touched, and we realized that it's important. It's a great support for them.
How you managed to create some rhythm of survival, because the all conflict takes a lot of time. It's like
people are much more strong than we can expect, and this extreme situation let us discover our real strengths, our real power. Because in everyday life you think, oh, I'm so tired, I slept too less. But when something extreme happens, you realize, oh, I can spend a few nights without sleeping, and I'm okay, I'm still okay. So we have a big resources.
Yeah. Do you also think that it's a new kind of war where publicity and economy are among the key weapons?
The information war, we call it, and it's a real power. But I think that our media were not as well prepared as they need to be. For instance, Russian media are much more powerful weapon, because maybe less of honesty, because you know the honesty has borders and the lie has no borders, so it's much more space for imagination and for manipulation.
What do you think about evaluation of such events? I mean, it's very important what image will rise in the nation's mind about these events, or simply to what people will think about Maidan in 50 years, in 100 years.
There is a problem that now, because of Maidan, of course, there were lots of writers, lots of poets, and after...
Taking sides?
Yes. And there were lots of novels and poems and essays about Maidan, but this is a situation when the account does not mean quality, unfortunately. And let's say so it's a little bit, somebody use this subject to be popular, to be published. It's not good, but
yeah, it's like first flow of emotions, and then
yes.
the next wave, and then rethinking if I were in that place or in that place, what will happen, and what it brought to what qualities it added to national character, for example. Yeah, it's
yes.
maybe too early to speak about that. Yeah, how the national character of Ukrainian people changed.
I think it's the question of identification. Especially for me, I never, before this happened, I never identified myself as a Ukrainian, but I presented myself that I am the citizen of the earth, let's say so. Yeah. Because I traveled a lot, I studied different cultures, I fall in love with some of these cultures, and my nationality didn't mean for me so much. But now, if somebody asks me who I am, I will say, first of all, I'm Ukrainian, not I'm journalist or writer. And I think the same is for all our citizens, because we suddenly started realize ourselves as a Ukrainian. Because when we got our independence in the year 91st, we got it easily. And that's why maybe it was not so value for us, and now we must pay for our independence. We got it free that time, but now we pay, and we start to realize what does it mean.
I know that you personally participated in very detective style events, and we should be glad that you have returned from Crimea safe and sound.
Yes, I went in Crimea when the occupation of Crimea just began, and I went with my colleagues to make a report about real mood of citizens of Crimea. I wanted to speak to pro-Russian people and try to tell them that, okay, the things that Russian TV shows you, it's not true, let's speak about it, something like that. Because I have been in Crimea before many times, I traveled a lot there, and also I worked there as an archaeologist, and for me it's also the part of life, let's say so. So the problem of Crimea touched me deeply. So we went with my colleagues in Crimea, and our car was stopped on the border by guys with guns. The guys with the guns told us sit down in the ground. They put all our stuff. When they saw my journalistic document and my camera, they thought, "Oh, fucking journalist, you work for America, how much America pay you?" And the text like this. They were very aggressive, they beat us, they cut our hair with knife shortly, and it was a moment that I was sure that I will be shot now, because one guy just put the gun near me and made the sound. So I was sure that it's finished. After that we were put into a prison and spent there 3 days. After that, I'm lucky that I'm a journalist and I worked in many editions, and all my friends and colleagues made a great noise in Ukrainian media, and actually we were saved.
So we also must feel lucky that we may speak to you, and,
yeah.
and we can express our sympathy and solidarity, but how can Latvians help, or or what we should do in Latvia to be safe from your experience?
I think I was very shocked when I saw how Latvian people celebrate this day of
National independence?
No, before
November?
the Lech Plesa, this god.
Oh yeah, 11th of November,
because
yeah.
I was shocked how it's important and powerful goes on because Ukrainian people.
You've been in Riga, yeah? Then.
No, I was here. Here it also was a big concert and lots of guys in military wear and like you invest in this culture, in this military culture, and it's good for us. I think you are protected because also it was nice to know that you have this volunteering warrior, like добровольческие battalions, because we created such kind of volunteering warriors only when the war started. You created it before, and I think you are lucky.
Let's turn in the end back to literature a little bit. Now, what have you done during your stay here? Was it too silent maybe to you now?
I wrote 2 novels, two stories. One of them is, let's say so, biographic, not about me, but about one person. And other one is satirical. Actually, they finished. I'm satisfied with how much work I did, but I am not sure in the quality. Now I'm waiting for reaction of my friends. What will they say, if it is good or if it is trash. But anyway, I liked this place very much, and it was like a paradise for me.